Hey guys, my name is Smay and this is my husband Adam.
Hey guys.
We have been married for just about 5 years now, and a year into, or maybe like 6 months into being married, I got an IUD, and it was incredibly painful to get it inserted. He was there with me. It was like a total traumatic experience for the both of us.
Yeah, she almost passed out. I think you actually did pass out.
That might have happened. Either way, I was like very nauseous. It hurt so much. It took a really long time before I could get up and standing again. And like immediately I regretted the decision to get an IUD because I just felt like my body did not want this foreign object inside of it. And it was so painful, and yeah, so that was bad. And then after I got it, I was bleeding for like maybe a couple weeks or so, and then I kind of went back to like my normal cycles, like having a period, and the bleeding was like a little less than it was before I got an IUD. And then probably like 2 years in, I pretty much stopped bleeding. There was just like very minimal blood during my period. But I decided that I wanted to have an entire cycle and experience my period without it being like kind of, what's the word? I just wanted to be like, well, if my body is naturally making hormones that are gonna make me crazy, I want to feel that and like experience each stage or each phase of the menstrual cycle.
Well, I've always, I think as a guy, had very little, I guess, ignorant to what happens to a woman during her period, and almost, you know, I don't think that I'm weird saying this, but like almost grossed out by the concept of it. And so anytime she talked about it, I didn't want to know. I felt uncomfortable talking about it. But as she sort of led up to wanting to take it out, she had been talking about wanting to experience a full cycle. And so that really educated me on really what's going on, and sort of wanting to sort of champion around her so that she can feel more excited about a full cycle and a real cycle, not anything that's sort of been manipulated by additional hormones to prevent pregnancy. So when she said that she wanted to do it, it actually took some convincing from me to actually get her to actually do it. She didn't, she was afraid because of the pain that she'd experienced getting it in. And so maybe it's going to be the same on its way out, which I think is totally rational. But we watched some videos and read some things.
The thing was, initially, like probably for a year or so now, I've been thinking like, should I get my IUD out? But like it was so like horrible, I really didn't want to go through that again. And so I started looking up on YouTube, like maybe there's a way that I could like take it out myself and just cut out the like horrifying doctor experience and just be comfortable and in my own house and do it. Because if it wasn't for it being so painful, I would have gotten it taken out a long time ago, but the pain was like the main factor that I just avoided taking it out. So yeah, I was looking up on YouTube, tons of videos, and like reading on blogs, people taking their IUD out themselves. And I messaged a couple of my midwife friends and asked like, is this dangerous? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how dangerous is this? And they were like, yeah, I mean, we just pull it out. So like, yeah, if like you can grab it, then yeah, you can pull it out. It's like the same thing we do. So he got home and I was like, okay, I think I want to pull my IUD out, which is kind of crazy. I felt a little insane just like thinking about actually doing that. But there were so many YouTube videos of people having success with it. So I was like, watch the videos and help me do this.
Yeah, well, I mean, they said that the IUD has 2 strings on it that the doctors will use to pull it out when that time comes. And so I was like, okay, just feel around for some string. And so I finally was able to feel the strings, but it's not like 2 separate strings, they're like together. And so, well, first of all,
they were after 4 years of being inside of me.
First of all, you can't go in this way, like this motion doesn't work. You can't get enough grip on it or even
Or
reach it.
Far enough.
Yeah, you couldn't get up there. And so technique was these fingers this way, which feels a little weird showing you all now. But I was able to find the strings and kind of get a grip on it. And it was kind of some struggling for a little while, also like trying to be mindful of how she's feeling and her nerves, and so like I tried to be as relaxed as I could so she could be relaxed. But finally I was able to get a good enough grip on it and kind of get the green light from her. Okay, are you ready? You want me to do this? And she said yes, and I gave it a tug, and it moved it for sure, but
it definitely moved. I was laying on the bed and was like, okay, yeah, just pull. And then I felt the pain that I felt at the doctor's office when I first got it put in. I felt like a glimpse of that pain and was like, oh my gosh, like kind of sat up like, oh, that hurt. But like I had read all these reviews that you can't just like do it halfway. You have to like pull it out. Like you can't just leave it, yeah, out of its place. So I'm like, no, it hurt, but like, grab it, like, keep going. We have to take this all the way out. We can't just leave it.
Well, I tried to get another grip on it, but then all of a sudden the pressure was on, and like I was freaking out, like internally, like, oh my gosh, like what if this gets like stuck, or what if I've just like torn her uterus or something? And so all these things were running through my mind.
It felt so chaotic. Scared. Like it was like, boom, okay, this is serious. Get it out. Yeah.
But I was unsuccessful, and so then she took matters into her own hands.
Yeah, I was like freaked out about him. Like, I mean, I probably scared him when I like jumped like that. So I'm like, hey, I maybe should just do this myself. So I went to the bathroom. I was sitting on the toilet and like pulling it out myself, and like I finally got it, and it was really crazy, and I was like kind of dizzy and like really worked up, like in shock that like I got it out, and was like holding on to the IUD like, this just happened. Like most people say you should go to the doctor to do this, and I just did it myself and it worked. But oh my gosh, like I was like shaking and like really lightheaded. Yeah.
She was like about to hyperventilate, which
yeah.
Yeah.
The best part about it is that Adam says when I was pulling it out, I had my eyes wide open. And I don't remember any of that happening. I just remember like, oh my gosh, like I had to do this all the way. This is what an IUD looks like, if it will focus. There. So these little strings down here, those were what we were pulling on. And it's pretty small, but it's like kind of painful coming out. And I read a review that somebody said it was like pulling a tampon out. So that's what kind of made me like, okay, maybe I can do this. If it's like pulling a tampon out, then I've done that before, I can do it again. And it was not like pulling a tampon out. It was way worse, but it definitely wasn't as bad as getting it put in. So if that helps you at all.
Doing it yourself is an option. I would talk to, if you have anybody who's a midwife or in the medical field, I would just consult somebody.
It probably took me like a half hour or more to actually get it out. I don't know, maybe
more like 15 minutes.
You think so?
Yeah, it was all that.
Well, for a while there we were sitting and I'm like, I'm scared, should we do it? And he's like, babe, so many people said that they had success with it, so let's just try it. So yeah, maybe that contributed to the time. It was like midnight by the time that we got it taken out.
And then the next day I was actually kind of freaking out because I hadn't heard from her yet, and I was like,
he got up before I did.
Yeah, I was like, did she like bleed out or something? I don't know, like I just went through all these things in my mind that might have happened to her, that she was in pain or that she was hurting, but I didn't hear anything from her, so I was kind of freaking out. But I saw her later that day, and you know, she was glowing almost like.
I felt so empowered because people say like you shouldn't do it by yourself. Some people say that, and I was like, I did it by myself, and I didn't go into a doctor, and everything turned out fine. So I felt like super empowered and like in charge of my body. Like, okay, I wanted this to happen, so I made it happen. And it happened. And it just felt really good. Like the first day I had bleeding, and the cramps were just like the night that we took it out. And then the first day I had some bleeding. And then ever since then, like it's been nothing. So I feel like I'm in a cycle right now and I don't feel abnormal. I feel normal. I was really worried about the cramps and bleeding and potentially having like some crazy emotions going on from getting off an IUD after 4 years, 4.5 years, almost 5. Yeah, it's been a while, but I actually feel good and I'm super excited to not be on a birth control. I downloaded an app called Natural Cycles. I just got their thermometer in the mail today, so I'm definitely excited to start that and have an actual natural way of tracking my fertility.
And to any husbands or boyfriends or whatever that watch this, like, celebrate your significant other's period. I think that it's a super fascinating thing that we should be celebrating and not sort of being grossed out by, because it's totally normal. And in a way, I'm kind of jealous of the physical, I guess,
cycle.
The physical cycle that they get to go through, so that they can sort of like mark when their hormones at a certain points. As guys, we're sort of shooting in the dark. We don't really know what that's like. For a woman, you can really sort of cater your month based off of where your hormones are. And with a physiological response, like the actual period itself, you're able to sort of cater your month based off of those things. And guys, we're kind of just trying to figure it out as we go. But it's an amazing thing, and it's why people can give birth, and so it's an amazing thing that we should be celebrating.
Life.
Yes, we shouldn't be grossed out by it. So
yeah,
just
and
my thoughts.
The more you learn about periods, like it's just within the last 2 months maybe that I started to like get into this period thing. So yeah, just learn more about what your body does, because it's pretty freaking cool, and it will definitely change your mind about your cycles, and just educating yourself will make the process cool and not crummy. It's
been amazing to see her look at her cycle and just be motivated by the different moods that she's in, and not just dreading every second of it, but like really knowing where she's at in her cycle and capitalizing on those moments has been really cool. So
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.